I had an entertainment center advertised, and a woman asked to come over to have a look at it. We set up a time, and when the time came, she didn't show up. I texted her, and a couple hours later she replied and asked if it was too late to come by. It was 10 p.m, but I said okay. She said she would be there 20 minutes later, and I texted her again. 10 more minutes, she said. But she hadn't shown up by 11 p.m, so I texted again and said we would have to do it another day. And she replied that she was just pulling up. I go to my front door, and sure enough, she's pulling into the driveway, and there are about 4 or 5 other people in the car with her. They all get out and start walking towards the door, and I ask them what they are doing, and the woman says they all want to see the entertainment center. I tell her that only she can come in, and at that point I wasn't sure I wanted her to come in. She says she needs at least one other person's opinion. I say no. She gets indignant, and I ask her to leave, and she says that I am not being a very good Christian. I say I am fine with that, and went in my house and locked all the doors, peeking out the window. One of the dudes who was with her is pissing at the end of my driveway, but then they get in the car and drive away. The whole thing was super bizarre. This isn't a horror story at all, but the guy I sold a TV to a couple of years ago pretty much assumed that I was going to murder him and his boyfriend. I got the impression that he thought that I was going to scam him, so I offered to drop the TV off at his house and he could just PayPal me the money. He didn't want me knowing where he lived, so I offered to have him pick it up after my daughter's soccer game. Wouldn't do that either, because he said I'd have too many of my people. So I then switched it to the parking lot of my town's grocery store at 3:30 p.m. Nope. He finally agreed to meet me in front of the town's police station with his boyfriend and 2 other guys only after he called an officer outside to witness the transaction. The cop told the guy he probably shouldn't be buying stuff on Craigslist anymore. The funny thing was that he brought so many people that the TV wouldn't fit in his car. I got GTA V for the PS3, but then got a PS4 about 2 weeks later since I got surprised by an extra large paycheck and had money to blow, so I decided to sell my PS3 copy for $40 as soon as I put the listing up. I legit got a text not even 10 minutes later for a guy that wanted to meet in half an hour to pick it up. I wasn't busy, so I decided to do it. The guy was about 10 years older than me, incredibly skinny to the point of ribs practically showing through his shirt, and had a tick. Anyway, I make the transaction and think that's the end of it. Nope. On my drive home texted me, wanting me to come over to his place and play it with him. I politely decline. He then goes on to text me a novel about his life story and his time serving in Afghanistan and his PTSD and depression. I felt bad for him, but still didn't want to go hang out with a stranger I meet on Craigslist. He then starts asking me when I'd be free to hang out and tries to make plans. I explain politely that I'm not really looking to make friends through Craigslist or anything. He tries calling me. I turn off my phone and go to sleep. I turn it back on in the morning, and I've got 20-something missed calls and over 60 text messages from him, getting increasingly more angry, violent, and threatening as they went along. I installed an app to block his number, and that solved it. But for a good week or 2, I was afraid of accidentally running into him again. My roommate got a young cat from Craigslist. I went with her to get it, so she didn't get robbed. It seemed normal, so whatever. A week after having it, the cat has eaten maybe 2 bites of food. We thought maybe she was still adjusting. She slept constantly. I know cats sleep 18-ish hours a day, but this was all day and night. By the end of the second week, we knew something was seriously wrong, so she texted the seller, who was like, "She's healthy and your problem." We wake up at 3 a.m. see the cat is staggering around and moaning one night. We rush it to the emergency clinic, and they said she needed a $2,000 blood transfusion. She flatlined before my roommate could decide what to do. Vet bill was over $600 for that vet to give the cat oxygen for a 15 minutes and then tell us she died. Texted the old owner she died, and we get as a response, "Bitch knew something was wrong with that cat, which is why she sold it. Learned our lesson. No more Craigslist cats."